over, and we're going to bring in our football correspondent here with Big Hurt. Welcome in, Hurt. How are you doing tonight?
It's been a long day. It's been a long 24 hours. I'm not going to bore you with all of it, but I'm not happy. Not happy at all.
Yeah, I'm not happy either. So let's do a quick little reset. We've been talking a little bit of hockey. By the way, it's a 16-7 game in the Vikings versus San Francisco, which is a little surprising because usually Cousins doesn't do this well on primetime games, but there's still a lot of game left to be played. A reset here, and Texas is up 8-2 in their Game 7 over Houston in our baseball. And if you're on Twitch, you can see the live scoreboard of that. I was very disappointed. 2 games this season against teams that are terrible or seemingly terrible, and we make them look really good, Hurt, in the first half, and we dig ourselves such a big hole that we can't get ourselves out of it, even though I think that we make adjustments and play a decent second half. But it's too much. And the same script, I was scared that they would repeat themselves with the Bears. CP3 in his pregame was worried that this was trap game part 2. I don't understand how we could let this happen again, but Hurt, what are some of your thoughts?
Well, I want to say this right. The only difference between this team and previous teams is that previous teams will play well in the second quarter and maybe the first quarter. We seem to be a third and fourth quarter team, but the only side of the ball that's making adjustments is the defense. Jack Del Rio is the only person on the staff making adjustments. He's the coach that people hate the most, but, the defense gets it together. And we have constantly, we don't have an identity. Constantly, we've been playing to the level of our competition. If our competition is really good, Philadelphia, we play really good. If our competition is really bad, Denver, we play really bad. Giants, we play really bad. Giants are terrible. They're ass juice. So to lose to them hurts. Although when I saw Tyrod Taylor was going to be playing us and not Daniel Jones, I was a little afraid. But yeah, look, they beat us and they were acting like they won the damn Super Bowl and they scored a touchdown. When we were down 14-0, I still wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid because I'm like, this team has proven they can come back from deficits. And we just didn't come back from deficit. Chase Young played like the second or third best game he's played in his entire career. There was holding all over the place. There were questionable calls, but you can't leave the game in the hands of the referee, especially against the Giants. It shouldn't have been close. We should have blown them out. And so now I'm looking at Eric Bieniemy, and the talking point in Commander circles is, did Andy Reid get us again?
Yeah. I don't know. It's so frustrating. I was so excited. I got to watch this game, Hurt. I thought I was going to be going to a birthday party. My daughter was 6, so she was upstairs sleeping. I had the whole house to myself. I was excited. I sat down. I finally have a quiet house watching a game. First time I've gotten that for, can't even tell you how long. And, and I just was like, holy shit, this is the horrible first half. And then I went on it and I did a live stream test of this software just to see if it would work. And then we started kicking ass, but I'm always very superstitious. I'm like, never live stream during a game, blah, 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 blah. I turned it off. And literally that was the only touchdown we scored was while I was live. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have turned it off. Maybe I should have had a screaming czar in my face just for the sake of the Commanders. But it was like 4th down and the missed field goal. And it's just, we had opportunities to come back in this game. And it's just like,
so many opportunities. The missed field goal, that was a fluke block. I can deal with that. I could deal with stuff like that in a microcosm, but
in the 4th down play, it shouldn't have even got to that things. Play.
That reception that they didn't have that got called a reception that ended up being a backbreaker for us. We ended up getting the ball back after that, but it was that was rough. Ron showed more fire yelling at the referees that I believe he showed at his team. You know, it's just too much arm folding. Him yelling at the refs was refreshing. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, show some fire. Let's go. Let's turn this thing around. You know, the defense went out and did what they were supposed to do. Got us the ball back. We're driving. Jahan Dotson drops the game-tying touch. It's like on one play, Sam Howell misses. 2 players are wide open for the touchdown. He misses both of them. Like, if he throws the ball, I believe it was Gibson or Robinson that was running free on the wheel route. And he throws it to Damani Brown. Damani Brown catches it. Either one of those is a touchdown. And he takes you another sack. Our offensive line is offensive. That's not an NFL offensive line. Like, it's comical.
I can't tell if it's, but it's like we know that the screenplays were working and we're still not running them. I just don't. Slant plays, screenplays, something fast. I just. We know the problem is our offensive line. Why can't we like deal with that? Why aren't they calling so many screenplays? You know, to the point where like they're guessing you're going to do screen and then you do something else. I don't
understand why the enemy decided that the screenplay worked so well. He wanted to save it for another day. It's like, okay, we're just not going to do it today. I don't understand it. The rolling pocket was cool. I don't understand why we didn't see more of it. It seemed to work every time. Every single time we rolled the pocket, it worked.
Like these plays
Sam wasn't making the most accurate throws, but
I mean, some of these like screenplays he can make though. They're not complicated, passes, so to speak. Those aren't the ones he's missing. It's just it's such a bother to me that like everything that's working they just don't continue to do. And I get frustrated with teams sometimes that run a play too often and then it gets stale, but like we don't even give it a chance for that. Like,
that was something I used to argue about with Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden would run a play, it would work, and he'd be like, great, see you next week. Because Jay Gruden had a game plan. He had all the plays he was going to call the entire game on the list, and that was how he ran it. It was like, these are my plays, and that's all. Nothing else coming.
It's so cocky and it's so misguided. I just don't understand like how that works, like I just and it's like, how can we see this? We're not getting paid to do it. We've watched a lot of football, but like what their ego is just so great that they can't make adjustments. And I just don't. It's very frustrating because I know that we're close. A lot of these games are closer than the scores indicate. There's a couple plays here and there. We kind of change them up, and who knows where we're going to be in this season. But you can't lose to the worst two teams. I mean, these are losses that'll come back and haunt us, even if we come back and somehow. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat the Eagles this week, right? We played them tough the last time.
Nah. I think we've been exposed. I think people understand that if they just blitz us over and over and over, good things are going to happen for them, which is funny because Del Rio still doesn't understand that if you blitz like that, good things happen. But I think teams will continue to blitz us until the enemy makes an adjustment. I think the only adjustment that can be made at this point is a trade. I'm going to say this publicly. I think you have to trade Chase Young. You have to trade him now.
Yeah, his value is very high, and I don't know if
you got to trade Chase Young. You possibly have to trade Montez Sweat. You got to break up that front four. You got to get rid of one of them, and you have to get either high draft picks or an offensive lineman. But someone needs to be coming in off the street to the offensive line. Something has to happen. There has to be an offensive lineman out there, a right tackle out there. Wiley is a joke. He's a joke.
Yeah. I just don't understand how we can get to the point where our offensive line is as bad as it is when we've known that this is going to be an issue for so long, and we just keep on not drafting it. We see these eye candy moves in the draft and we get them, and instead of just drafting an offensive line and a defensive line and just being done with it, like you can get quarterbacks and stuff like that through other means. And I just, these projects
There's
kill me.
gotta be a balance, because with this team, we had a great offensive line, but we had no skill position players and no defense. Now we have a great defensive line. We got some skill position players, no offensive line. There just has to be a balance, and we have to find it.
Yeah, I just don't even know. I know our time is short, and you've got to go. Quick last thoughts on the Eagles game coming up this week.
Pain. The Eagles have found themselves. I don't know what we did so well against them last time, but I predict pain. I predict a thrashing, a smashing, a whooping, a cooking, and possibly, I know I've heard that Josh Harris is patient, but I think that if we get destroyed by the Eagles, I think something has to happen Monday morning. That's my call. I think something has to happen Monday morning. Even at 3-5, if we're not performing, something has to happen. That's all.
Before I let you go, I just have to put this on screen. Can we see if we can see this? You got Big Hurt having a epic week, coming back in there and taking first spot. And look who's number 2. Would that be me? And then right there, also tied with number 2, is we got Champ coming up in the next segment.
I saw some things going, and to be honest, it's messed up. I'm in a couple of pay pools. If I had used my picks from ESPN in the pay pool, I would have won both of the pools that I'm in this week. But I made some variations. I also think I have Minnesota winning tonight. I think I picked Kirk Cousins to get his first primetime win, because that was a trap game for San Francisco. And it's a game that Minnesota has to have.
Wow.
And Kirk Cousins is the luckiest quarterback in the history of history.
Right. Well, I mean, you got it. Oh, he just missed a touchdown right there. 16-7 in that live game right now, and I did not have that, so that'll help give you some cushion if that happens that way. But epic week for you, so congrats on that, because that's big. Sith is right there. Also, Dujunnea is just 2 games back, and or 3 wins back of you and 2 of me. And then we've got Arun, who's coming up, is also doing well. So it's kind of fun to see everyone on the show tonight crushing it in the pick'em. Thank you for doing that with us every year, as always. And we'll let you go, and maybe we'll have you back next week on the Halloween episode. Who knows? Maybe a random episodes, Victory Monday. It's the day before Halloween, but I'm still celebrating. But we'll hope. I also, with you, I will not bet on our team. So but we'll see how it goes. But thank you, Hurt, as always, and hope that you have a great night.
Fuck these guys.
Yeah. All right. With that, we'll bring in DC's People's Champ, and we're gonna bring in Dujunnea as well. We're gonna continue on our Commanders talk. I just missed it. And I got a kick in the face as a thank you for missing that catch right there. We've got a big night ahead of us. We're still going to talk a little bit more about this football right here. It's 1st and goal for the Vikings, and they're trying to get it in. Looks like they fumbled the ball. No, they're calling it lays down. Oof. Anyway, I'm going to bring in Champ first. How are you doing tonight, Champ?
Hanging in there. Misery Monday as always. But of course, I had to wear my Wizard shirt in honor of the fact that the Wizard season begins this coming Wednesday. So, I would love to be excited about that, but it's a rebuild year. So it's probably going to be a crap year.
Right. Sounds good. And we got Dujunnea Bland, host of the Not Bland Show. It's doing great on Facebook and all streaming services, and it's been fun to watch the first couple episodes of that. But Dujunnea, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Ready to just fire off.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a rough time. I will do a live score reset though. Texas Rangers is up 8-2 over Houston in a very strange American League championship game. It's in the middle of the 5th now. Houston's going to be up to bat, but kind of a surprising turn of events there. It'd be interesting if all the road teams win that series, a la the World Series against Houston just a couple of years back in 2019. and they're going backwards in this Minnesota game. So it's 2nd and goal from now the 6-yard line in that one. So we'll give scoring updates on that throughout this whole segment. But yeah, Dujunnea, we've already talked to Hurt a little bit about it. Give us some of your thoughts on this really disappointing game for the Commanders.
Well, 3 out of the last 4, it seems that either Eric Bieniemy doesn't hear what the opponents are saying, or just chooses not to even be relevant as far as what their tape is. What really ticks me off is that Don Martindale came out and said that he was going to blitz. Okay. Now, first series, you get ransacked. Okay, fine. No problem. You come back out, you make the adjustments. Look, they're going to blitz. We'll start trying to roll you out, get you out, out on the edges and make some plays. Nope. He just continues to bang his head against the wall, expecting different results, getting the same. And it's starting to, good guy, love his coaching style, but at the end of the day, his arrogance is getting on my nerves. Because right from the jump, in the first quarter, they were kicking your nuts into your stomach. And yet you continue to repeatedly do the same things over and over again, getting piss poor results. I believe they had 46 yards of total offense the first half. Everybody want to look at Sam Howell and blame. Now, don't get me wrong. I was ready to pull him after the first half. They were getting nothing. They needed a spark. It's nothing against the guy. They pulled Forbes to sit him down, let him think about what he was doing. And I felt that would be something that would be necessary. But you kept him in. Now, all of a sudden, you can figure out in the fourth quarter how to roll an offense out after they done annihilated you all game. It just makes no sense to me. And again, Martindale came out this week, in that week, saying what they were going to do. Your offensive line is a revolving door. I mean, we've seen it week after week after week. You've got to do stuff to help out your offensive line, therefore help out your quarterback. I mean, he's been sacked 40 times, people, and we're in week 7. 40. It's asinine. And in a game where the defense stepped up, made plays, kept you in that game, and your offensive coordinator just like, oh, we're gonna, yep, we know the bridge is out, but we're just gonna keep driving and run right off of it. I know it's out, but I'm gonna keep going anyway. It's really disheartening, and it really lies at his feet. That's all I mean, don't even get me started on the coaches. We'll get there, but geez, it was absolutely the most asinine thing I've seen this season. Again, 3 out of 4 of these losses, they've pretty much been dominated, and you have a guy in Eric Bieniemy that just continues to do what he's going to do, because he's going to try to outsmart something that you basically are exposing them for what they can't do. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because I don't really know who to put the blame on, because there's times where the defense lets us down, there's times where the offense lets us down, and I still think our lucky stars have a good special teams, but it's just. But then we had the blocked field goal kick. I mean, that was a good block. I don't necessarily,
it was.
But it's frustrating because it's a momentum killer, right? I mean, you get points there, and it kind of changes a lot of the dynamics of that game, even though they still would need a touchdown because they'd still be down 4. But I don't know. I think it just from a confidence point of view, I think it would, come away with some points there in the red zone would have helped, but it's just frustrating.
And look, the defense made some mistakes, right? But that's going to happen. The pass on the sideline that I didn't think he had 2 feet. They tried to say he had the foot in before he even had possession of the ball. I don't even get all that, but whatever. That's what you want to call it. Sometimes you're going to have good throws that are just going to beat the coverage that you have.
I called it to somehow fuck us over on that, though.
Yeah,
right? Even
I had a gut feeling.
I was like, I think they're going to fuck us, even though we all know this is not the right call.
Yeah, I it wasn't a good day, and it definitely wasn't one of those things that was going to go their way. And the defense gave them several opportunities in the second half that they did nothing with. So if you keep doing that, eventually, I mean, they're gonna find a way to move the ball. It's just fortunate that it was only 14 points on the board. Give credit to Jack Del Rio and that defense. They balled on Sunday, and their offense repeatedly let them down over and over and over again. And like I said, it just, to me, it starts at the top with the head coach, but it definitely starts with the offensive coordinator. You got to help your quarterback, and you got to help your offensive line. Running the football the way they did, I think they added a tight end. Sometimes they had a 2 tight end set. Those are things you're going to have to do. And if Brian Robinson is not going to hit the hole and going to be tentative and skip to Malou, my darling, then you're going to have to put in another running back that's going to hit the hole and give you some yards. 3, 4, doesn't matter. Positive is better than nothing. And Robinson is just not doing what he was doing earlier in the year with hitting the hole. He's just skipping around, like he's skipping in the rain. Like, we ain't got time for that. And
talk about skipping in the rain. Christian McCaffrey just ran past the entire team. I just watched him just blow by everybody. I was like, wow, is he like going to dump like turbo speed? It reminded me of the old like boost button.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, he started off slow and then just boom, hit a hole and left 3 people in their dust. They all fell over. It was like almost cartoonish. Like, it was like, holy shit. Anyway, it's a big play because now the extra point coming, and it is good. It cuts us to 14-19. So the fact they weren't able to get it in the end zone within the 5-yard line, they got in the red zone really deep and got a field goal, and then San Francisco comes right back and punishes them with a touchdown. Makes it only a 5-point game here. But yeah, it's just frustrating. I don't even know what else to bring about it. Some of the players are frustrated. I'm going to ask Champ this question because Tina just asked it in chat about Jonathan Allen. What are your thoughts on his comments? And you can see the frustration mounting for these players.
Mans is tired. Mans is fucking tired. It's the same fucking bullshit for the last 7 years. He's fucking tired. Look, I felt him. Look, I've been dealing with the same frustration for the last 20 plus years. I still remember the glory years of the early to mid 90s. It's been downhill since 99. So trust me, he's been dealing with it for 7 years. I've been dealing with it for over 20 years. And I understand his frustration. Look, okay, so here's the problem I had with this game. Third down efficiency was terrible. They went
6.67%, just so you know.
1 for 15 on the game. It took until the fourth quarter for them to convert a third down. The fourth quarter. 3.5 quarters, they couldn't convert a third down. They finally did it in the fourth quarter. That final drive, they went 18 plays. Had Dotson made that catch, I think we're talking a different result, most likely, because he at least gets the first down. He may not get a touchdown the way he was drifting out of bounds, but he at least gets a first down, and they give themselves a chance. The run game, they don't trust the run game. After the first half, they only had 31 rushing yards in one half. They're not trusting the run game, and they have Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, who Dujunnea just outlined, just not doing what he's supposed to do. But they have Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's been really good. I like him. Yeah.
Chris Rodriguez has absolutely shown me something. I made the joke in our group chat. I said, Chris Rodriguez gonna mess around and take B-Rob's job. He keep this up because he was running the way he's supposed to run. Honestly, also the penalties, there were too many costly penalties. Though that intentional grounded penalty that was early on in the game, I thought that was bullshit because the receiver was literally right there. Like you could see he was right in the vision of the ball when it went out of bounds, but yet they still called grounding. And I thought that was absolute crap. So, but other than that, there was too many penalties that were a little bit too costly for my taste. And I also want to say Benjamin St-Juste played well. He had that one play where he got beat on a double move. Yeah. Other than that, he actually played very well in this game. And I think that that's something to be to look at, as well as what Chase Young did, what that defensive front did. The defense, and it's been said already, the defense did every single thing you could possibly do to keep this team in this game. But the offense just could not get out of its own way and couldn't muster up anything until that final drive where they started to move. They were starting to go. 18 plays, and it came down to a 4th down and short and an incomplete pass to lose the game. Very disappointing. Hopefully they learn from this. Hopefully they take Jonathan Allen's frustrations into account. Even Chase Young, when they asked him about his 2 sacks, he said he didn't care because they still lost. So clearly there are some members of this team that are starting to get really frustrated and pissed off. And I think the rest of the team needs to be like, have that same mentality, because otherwise we're going to have issues here.
Well, yeah. I listen to Terry talk and I listen to, Dotson talk, and they can only do what their coordinator's calling. I mean, just the bottom line. I mean, I don't know what else more you can do with the offensive line that basically just turns to the side and watches guys run right by them.
It's like Olay. Like they have like a little, there's just, woo,
I don't know what else you can do.
They call that a lookout block. Yeah, what they do is they get up and say, look out.
They're all yelling look out. So you don't even know which direction to look out. Like, it's just.
Your offensive coordinator has got to do a better job of helping out. I mean, they're 29.47%, which is 31st in the league, only converting 3.6 third down conversions per game. Not good. And the penalties this past game were 10 for 75. That's too many. But there's a lot of frustration in this locker room. They got one more game. I don't know. Like I said in the chat, Ron Rivera's voice to me is stale in the locker room. And to me, it seems like he doesn't have any voice. Go back a couple games and what did you tell him? I let the guys talk for themselves. Really? Really? As the coach, I'd have been somebody's, this would have been gnawed off. Okay? There's no way you don't go in there and not say nothing with the performance they put up against the Bears. So it's quite apparent that his voice is null and void in that locker room because they come out flat every week. I don't want to hear no more about starting fast on offense, okay? Because there's no doing that. They haven't done that. I mean, here again, another game against the New York Giants, a team that they should have mollywopped. They come out and look like, I mean, I can go to the high school team right down the road here, and they play better offense than what was played on Sunday.
By the way, the Commanders are true streak breakers because that block field by the Giants was the first one they had in 6 years.
Like I told you, if you want to get right and you want some negative streaks to be broken, come on to Washington. We got you.
We always make the Giants look good in the Meadowlands. So that's just something that's been a true story of the last 20 years. I would say more often than not. They probably won 18 of the last 20. I don't even know the stat, but that's just how it feels to me. So, it's brutal. Tina's in chat saying, I no doubt that would make the Giants look bad. She also says that she likes Ron, but we can't blame Dan. And I agree. It's not his, but I'll ask you the question, Dujunnea. Hurt was saying that he actually thinks that on defense they make adjustments and our offense is not making the correct adjustments and they're not doing the screen. Evie is supposed to be that guy. Why isn't he making these adjustments? And why, when things are working, do we not see them again?
Because he's a Super Bowl winner. He has had success, and he thinks that he can come in here and scheme it up and thinks that it's supposed to work because he's got the horses. And no doubt he has the horses on the outside. No doubt. Okay. No doubt that he has some viable tight ends that can make plays. The problem is, though, what he's failing to realize is that your offensive line couldn't block their own shadow. So whatever you want to do, you have to make adjustments for. And again, this is the same crap I talk about with other coaches like Brandon Staley, Josh McDaniels. You have to make adjustments and work with the talent you have. So you may not be able to run everything that you want to run. And secondly, well, you've been getting blowed up by the blitz. You don't come into a game and disregard it. If you're going to disregard it on the first series, okay, you wanted to see what you could get away with, and you couldn't get away with it. Then you make an adjustment. It's not that he can't make an adjustment. It's the same thing. I was telling Carol, no, it's not arrogant. Nope. He's right. Jay Gruden, type attitude. Guy smart. Guy really knows his stuff. We've seen these plays and how they work and what he does, but dude is arrogant. And he needs to, you think the Bears game, you would have had some humble pie. Nope, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. So you get worked on offense here. You hope you have some humble pie going into this game at home, because if you don't, this is going to be the same thing over and over again, because they know how to beat you, and you won't adjust to the fact that that's your weakness. We just going to keep doing things that we're weak at and get blowed up. It just makes no sense to me. And like I said, it falls on coaching.
Losing or winning this next game against Philly somehow, some random way, and then turning around and lose to New England. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't shock me that we pulled this shit all the time. I
don't think they win this game.
Yeah.
What I think is that somebody's going to lose their job. There's no reason why now you can't look this bad for 4 games for 3 games of the 4 games you lost. You cannot look this bad. And Magic Johnson called you out before. He didn't have nothing to say after this game. That's not good. That's not good at all. And they're going to give you, because if you lose this game here, to me, the locker room is already lost, in my opinion. Now, the defense is pissed, and I think Jack's got his guys, but the offense, I don't think as a whole they believe in Ron Rivera anymore. That's the bottom line, period. That's just number one. It's very clear. Look at the games that you had to come out and you should have came in and kicked folks in the teeth, and you got kicked in the teeth because they come out flat and lethargic. That's on the coach all day long. We've seen it for Ron several years now, where they come out flat in big games that they should be punching folks in the mouth. So if they lose this game, somebody going up the road, period. And I'm to the point now that ain't nobody gonna keep their job on the staff, including Eric Bieniemy. You're done. Yeah. 3-4 in this with this schedule, and you've had winnable games with this squad, and you come out and you look like complete utter dog poop.
But they're not even trying the plays that are working. That's the part that just keeps them baffling me, is we're seeing the screen work and they just don't do it.
But he doesn't make adjustments. That stuff happens late in games when their backs are against the wall, and he all of a sudden figures out that, you know what, the game plan that I thought that I was going to do, I can't do that because we're getting blitzed and Sam is getting sacked a lot. But he figures that out in the fourth quarter. Now, I don't know. Earlier in the season, it seems like he was making adjustments quite quickly. Now he's just beating his head against the wall, expecting for stuff to work because that's what he wants to do. And again, like I said, that's arrogance. And to be quite honest with you, I'm quite sick of it. So if you want to keep being arrogant, fine. But I guarantee you there won't be a whole bunch of people that's going to have some jobs if they lose this game next week.
Yeah,
it look like that at home again? Oh, no. Mm-mm.
And the tough thing is the Eagles are a good team, so it's not an easy thing, but we have proven that we can keep it close with them and we can play them well. I think what we got to do is we got to turn the script on its head. They're going to look at this Giants game and try to replicate it because they know that it worked, right? So we've got to do everything that's the opposite of that game. We got to run so many screens that blows their head off. We got to run so many quick routes, things that are coming in and fast and hot, and doesn't give them an opportunity to. And then once they have to start, they stop the blitzing, then you can go back to a normal, system.
So here's my game plan for offense. First of all, you need to find a better offensive line combination. That crap ain't working. I don't believe in them anymore. And quite frankly, none of them have earned their starting spot. It's time to mix this crap up and find a combo that works. That's the first thing you do. Second, you get a little bit more creative with this run game. Okay. If Brian Robinson is not going to hit the hole the way he should, he wants to, be Mary Poppins and skip it in the rain. Nah, bye. Sit on the bench. We don't have time for that. Need to run downhill with the ball. And you need to be more creative with the run. 3, screens are a defensive line that wants to rush upfield and meet at the quarterback's worst enemy. You got Samuel, you got Gibson, you've got McLaurin. You got guys that can really scat off of a screenplay. You better get creative with that. And it needs to be 1, 2, 3, and the ball is out. No more 7-step drops because it's 7-step drops and we watching Hal spin and he's on the ground. It's not rocket science.
We haven't
shorten it up.
Any trick plays either. No things.
Well, how are you gonna get off a trick play?
But I'm just saying, even a jet sweep, getting some misdirection going away. You know what I'm saying? We just don't even see
I don't think the team's talented enough to be doing no shit like that, Robbie. Let's be for real.
I know, but
I'm being so real.
Big problem.
I agree, but we have to try different things. We're doing the same thing. We can sit here and call these plays and they can just tee off and blitz. And what about a wildcat where you just you're running it out of, I don't know, just run the ball, do different things. If we see the same exact game plan that's failing again, it's going to be very frustrating.
I agree.
Season.
But that's what I would do. I mean,
I'm with you.
You have to. There's no way. You can't keep dropping back 7 steps. All you got to do is go back and look at the tape. The tape don't lie. They can't block.
And that's the thing right there, DJ, is the tape. See, everybody got hyped for Howell because he had that one start against Cowboys at the end of last season, his only game he played, so nobody had no tape on him. Now they have tape on this kid, and they know he has trouble recognizing defenses. They know he has a poor line, and they know that if nothing's open, he can't go off schedule. He can't improvise. They know this now. So now they see that, okay, he's definitely a rookie because he can't play, he can't throw off schedule, he can't improvise, he's going to drop back 5 or 7 steps, he's not going to have nothing, he's going to sit there and take it.
But know what I think
we have.
I think the lack of being able to recognize things for Hal is the fact that he just simply doesn't have enough time. By the time they get back there, the way that the routes are called, there's no hot to go to. And then you watch him force a ball in, trying to throw it a little early, hoping that this guy can make a play, and he throws a pick. I mean, the only thing that I blame Sam Howell for is for holding the ball too long. There's times where the ball should have been out early. You waited a little bit longer, and the defender is able to knock it down because you waited too long. You need to throw it ahead of time. You got to throw the guy open. You can't wait for him to come open or wait for you when you think he's open. But the other stuff is he just doesn't have enough time to make those decisions. And it's either, like you saw a couple of times, he just threw it out of bounds. Because what was he going to do? The routes downfield weren't even open yet because he didn't have enough time to set it up. And that's on the offensive coordinator. You have to make adjustments to speed it up, to get quicker routes, 3 steps, and get the ball out. It's that simple. And then give him an outlet. And if you got to keep an extra guy in to chip, then you got to chip. You got to do something. You got to figure out something. And to me, it's a whole new O-line combo. But I think that's where Sam Howell, everybody's harping on a lot of things that he's doing. But, I mean, I don't know. I can add a couple guys like, Patrick Ramsey in his day when he was getting bum rushed and beat up. I mean, it's ain't got no time to do anything. How you gonna make a right decision? Then when you want to make a decision, you just gotta force it and hope a guy makes a play because you don't have enough time because your offensive coordinator keeps dropping you back 7 steps.
Yeah. So, we got this Eagles game and then we've got the New England game after that. I just feel like this is such a pivotal part of our thing. We really talked about going into it. They were trying to get 2 out of 3, but that doesn't seem very feasible at this point. But we have to at least salvage 1. And the season's going to get away from us pretty quickly here, and especially with some of these losses. The Vikings just scored a field goal. I'll say they scored in their last 5 drives, make it 22-14. It's a pretty long field goal, and it was up and in. And so we'll see. Maybe Cousins, Hurt thought that this was their opportunity. What did you guys think going into this game? Did you guys have the 49ers getting right, or did you have Cousins showing up on Monday Night Football?
I picked the 49ers.
Yeah, I did.
I picked the 49ers too. I don't believe it, Kurt. It's still a whole quarter and 20 seconds ago. It ain't over yet, Jack. It ain't over yet.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. So, but all right. Well, I want to be cognizant of your time, Dujunnea. So I'll let you get your parting shots in, on this team or anything you want to talk about, and then also let us know who you've got on your show this week.
Oh man, this is a critical game at home for a lot of reasons, and I think a lot of fans understand that. One thing I will say when you watch the Eagles, everybody talks about, it looks like they're getting things going. Look, the Eagles play up to people that are good opponents, and then when they play average opponents, they play right down to them. That's the problem they've had all season, really. And I don't believe for 1 second that they're together. But if you're going to get the same Eric Bieniemy that you got last week, this is an L. So there might be a small glimmer that they might come out and be able to battle. But this is a critical moment. They can't look god awful like they did against the Bears and currently the Giants. So I don't have them winning, though. There's no way I can pick them. The defense is going to keep it close for them, and I do believe in that. I think there's a lot of attitude and there's a lot of frustration that they're going to take out on that Eagles front. And I think they're going to do their best to try to keep it close. They're going to have some turnovers for this team, create some short fields, hopefully. But like I said, if there's no change and we keep seeing the same stuff we've been seeing for the last 3 losses, it's going to be ugly on that Monday. As far as the show, Wednesday at 7, we're going to have Darren Williams Jr. We're going to talk some NHRA. This is the second to the last playoff race before we hit the final. Pro Stock Motorcycle is pretty much decided. So it's Top Fuel, it's Funny Car, and it's Pro Stock. And Pro Stock is almost close to being decided. So we're going to talk about that and what the possibilities are as far as the championship. I will be having on Jaleel Lewis. We're going to talk a little NFL, talk about this officiating that we've seen this weekend. I mean, it's something I've been talking about since 2016. Really some bad calls and some calls that really cost some teams the game, or at least a chance to win the game. And we're going to talk about some little hot topics around the league, Raiders, Chargers, etc. And last, we're going to talk Washington Commanders, and I'm going to have one of the fans on this week. I think his name is Rio Robinson, and we're going to talk some Commanders. What we want to do here is we want to have the fans' point of view, what they think about the Washington Commanders and what they think about this upcoming week against the Eagles. Like I always say, I think fans deserve a spot in the media. A lot of these people do great YouTube shows like yourself, Robbie, and they deserve a spot. They also deserve a spot in the locker room if they so choose. And that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're bringing them on, and we'll continue to do that.
That's awesome. No, I think that's a big reason why we started doing this show. Was I felt when we did call-in radio, I'd call into a lot of the big shows and they'd give you your 30 seconds and then they'd hang up on you and they'd talk about what you wanted to talk about, but you didn't really get a voice. And if you're lucky, maybe you get a rebuttal or a second 30-second statement. But those are only few and far between. And for a long time we'd have people call in, and this used to be a 3 or 4 hour show, and we used to let people talk for 30-40 minutes and and go on and on a wide variety of sports topics. I wish with having small children, I've had to now start the show a lot later. Back in the day it was started at 7, you could go till 11, right? It's a little harder. We're not going to 1 a.m. Here, so but I really appreciate that, and I love that this is a fan-made podcast, and we're all fans, but we also have media that come in and break it down too, and can get both perspectives together. So I think that'll be a great show coming up. The links are in chat. The links are also in the description of the Facebook, and will be on the description of our YouTube videos as well. But definitely check it out. Also, go to sportsothp.com, click on Team SportsOTHP. You got all of Dujunnea's links there, and also on the podcast partners button, it's been updated, and the Not Bland show can be found there as well. But Dujunnea, thank you as always, and we look forward to breaking down maybe a surprising Eagles win. Maybe they'll surprise us against all of it. I will hold on to that hope, although the faith is dwindling quickly. We'll call it that way. But thank you for your time as always.
No problem, man. Enjoyed it. And Champ, we're gonna have to move you back to next week, but we'll be chatting next Wednesday. We'll be chatting up to that, and we'll have you on. We're gonna talk some wrestling. Got to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good. Yeah, I look forward to the wrestling show, and and getting Champ's thoughts as well. And thank you again, Dujunnea.
No problem.
Great. And Champ,